Hey guys, I released a uniform creation package. What this is it allows you to make, uniforms. Uniform tops, uniform bottoms, got the green texture covered and all that fun jazz. I'm going to show you basically how I do this. So when you download the 7-zip folder or zip file, you can export this with WinRAR or 7-zip itself. You get these fun things right here. So let's start with colors for Create a Team. If you so choose, there's a PSD and a GIMP file here. There's this tiny little 1 pixel by 4 pixel texture here with just the different colors for Create a Team, or really any uniform: red, green, blue, and this is the gray that I use for the alpha layer mask, if you will. I'll show you how to do that, but we'll get to that in a second. So then we have the normal green map textures, and this is nothing more than, we have a blank one. Let's get rid of all of this. So this is a blank one that has no details to it, and then there's also a generic jersey, which has kind of a jersey texture to it, and generic shorts. These came from, I think, a past NBA 2K game. And those are, a nice generic way to make, to take care of the green texture if you don't want to go through making the normal map yourself, but there is the tutorial on that if you so wish. Then we have these tileable textures, which I'll get into in a second. And then we have the simple vector line work files. So where to start? Let's go ahead and open up a new texture, and we'll make it 1024 by 512, which is the default resolution for a uniform. This is the same for the top or the bottom. Now in general, I don't know the exact dimensions, but somewhere around here and somewhere around, well, actually with the tops, I'm not too sure. I think this stuff over here is like the armband size. This is the back of the uniform. This is the front of the uniform. I don't know the exact cutoff, so where that texture is, but I'm not going to concern myself with that right now. So the way to make uniforms is essentially you just make it however you want to make it. So this is the front of the uniform over here. So if I want to have a big X in the front of the uniform, if I save this as a DDS texture right now, import it with either RedMC, the 2KX tool, or the 3DM tool, I'm going to have a uniform with a big red X on it right there. I don't want that. I want something a little bit classier than that. And this is me making it, so it's pretty damn lazy, but still, it's something. So here I have like mesh and the different weaved files that are from 2K itself. These pinny ones are just, they're for Create a Team. I included them just because I did them, but it's essentially just this mesh one, but recolored a little bit for Create a Team colors. So I can go ahead and Control A, Control C, copy that, go over here, go to the bucket tool, and I'm sure you can do this with Photoshop too. Pattern fill, and change it right here to the clipboard. Go ahead and press Control V. Oops, excuse me. Not Control V, Control colon, or you can go ahead and just click with the bucket tool. I'll do it too. I don't know why I did it that way. So this is a really big texture, and this is because I used it for the 4K uniforms that I also released using this technique. So if we want to scale that down a little bit, go ahead and scale this image down by 4, so we'll go to 8 pixels, and we'll sync. Copy, bucket fill, boom. So now we have a nice little mesh texture that we can use, and John Generic or something like that, he does have a Revolution 30 texture that you can use and download, and he made it available for everyone to use. I don't think I have it on my desktop. Oh, I do have it on my desktop right here. And I can import that in too, and then you can get an idea of what this looks like if I can show you real quick. Boom. So you have a Rev 30 texture right there from John Generic. I'm going to call his name. I really screwed up his name. I'll have the link in the description below. So you can have this stuff to make your uniform if you want. You can just use a regular mesh like I have. It's up to you. I'm going to go with the mesh that I made because I'm not going to make a real uniform. You can also do this with a t-shirt. Just input it right here, copy it, and fill it. And there we go. Now we have a t-shirt background for t-shirts because I make street mods and that's what I do. So the difficult part of this is making up designs, or that's the most difficult part that I've ever had. Going here trying to make different designs and say that's a line on one side, that's a line on another side. Or it doesn't really. It's difficult to make a uniform from scratch. That's why it's always good to export a texture from 2K already that has a uniform that already looks kind of like what you're trying to make. But that doesn't really work when you're making original stuff, let's say. So let's go ahead and take this weave texture just to have it ready. And I'm going to go ahead and go to paths over here, right click, import path, and I'm going to go ahead and load up these SVG files I created. And okay stuff, there it is, and HD Street Uniforms. So these are the SVG files that I included right here, simple vector line work files. Let's go with NBA tops, why not? And did I screw this up? I think I already screwed this up because I didn't check that. So let's go ahead and Control Z this. And we're going to import path again. NBA tops and scale imported paths to fit image. There we go. This looks a little bit more promising. So these are all line works from various NBA uniforms. So these two make up the 76ers uniform. Right here is Celtics. These are all the home uniforms. I just did this really quick, and all I did was let's see if I have a uniform right here. Well, let's say this is a uniform I was trying to edit. All I did was go to fuzzy select and select this, and then in paths here I just hit this button right here, which is selection to path, and then I'd create this, and then go ahead and just delete this out. Control A, delete it all out, fill the background color so you can see it. And then it creates this, and this is a vector that you can scale up and down. It's kind of derpy, but it gets the job done, and any derpiness you can kind of explain by the, jersey moving a little bit. This is a really basic way to do things, but it's quick and easy, and allowed me to make 90 uniforms in, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, which is not that bad. So I mean, you can just choose what kind of line work you want to take from this. Here's obviously the Rockets top, and I also did this with the shorts too. And you can piece it together to make whatever you want. Custom uniforms, new uniforms, just upscaled NBA uniforms if you want. It's a lot of good stuff like that. Let's go ahead and take the Rockets one. So I select it there, and I can hit this one, or I can right click it and just do add to selection and go ahead and make this invisible, and you will see that this is already selected as to what I had. And go ahead and copy this, Control A, Control C. Then go over here to the bucket fill, and I can just bucket fill it. Or what I like to use is Control and colon, semicolon. The thing next, the one next to L on your keyboard. And then we have this different texture from the mesh texture, and that's just something that I did for all the uniforms I created. Now, obviously, you're going to want a logo here. The numbers would show up here, and this is the back of the uniform with the name right here. So if you want a logo here, I actually made a bunch of really kind of generic street logos. I just went on Spreadshirt and a couple other websites and just found just random, really interesting, silly, stupid things like this one, the Eat Sleep Basketball. And these are all vectors, so you can scale them up as you need, but we're going to take this one right here, the fingerprint one. I like this one. I actually might buy this shirt. I don't know why I like it so much. And let's say we want to make this one a different color. So let's go ahead and make it red, because Rockets, it's already red. So let's go blue. And I can just either bucket fill or whatever. We need to do a selection first. So select it and Control comma to fill it. I'll go ahead and stop looking at that. Control Shift A. I should really make this its own layer. So before I do that, let's go back to layers, new layer. Okay. Oops. New layer, transparency. Okay. And now we'll fill it. And then we'll get rid of this path so we don't see it anymore. Get rid of the selection. And there you go. Now you have a logo on your uniform. Now if you want a little bit opaque so you can see behind it, see the mesh behind it, you can do this. It's really all up to you. And then you can, if you want to generate a green texture, you can do that with this. If you want to just use the generic one I included here, you can do that. But the main thing you do need to do is you do need to add an alpha or a layer mask to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do new from visible, and then I am going to do add layer mask, and we'll just do a full white one, and we'll show it. So we're editing the layer mask now. This is kind of like the transparencies, if you will. So let's go back to the Creative Team palette, And let's select this gray here. So all I want to do is just bucket fill this gray all over in here. And it's in this visible layer mask. I have another tutorial on layer masks, I believe. So right click, apply layer mask, and as you can see now it's a little bit, you can see through it a little bit, which looks really weird with a mesh, but it gets the job done. And that's basically it. I can go ahead and go to export. And remember, export, not save in GIMP. And we'll just put it on the desktop because it's or the temp file went up. Sure. And we'll just call it untitled DDS. Export, and you want to export to DXT5. Generate bitmaps. Okay. That's it. You just created a uniform. And it's in the temp folder where it shouldn't be. And I don't know where I put this other folder. So that is basically it. That's how you make a uniform using this stuff. It's not the hardest thing in the world to do, but it does take some experimentation. Don't get, too frustrated by this. If you want to recolor the background, of course, you can just, hell, if you want to just go to Colorify, you can. This is what I did a lot for it. So now this will be all red for Create a Team, and Create a Team can recolor this as it needs to in the game. And this will be black, obviously, or whatever the hell. I can also just do this, and then it can be blue again, and then blue will be recolored. I have a Create a Team tutorial as well that you can look at. But that's basically how you just make uniforms. You just make it look like however you want it to look like. And it's the same with the shorts. You just kind of make it look however you want it to look. And a lot of it comes with learning how to use GIMP or Photoshop, which is difficult. And that's why I made this, to try to make it as stupid proof. Because I am an idiot. I suck at anything texture-wise. This is why you don't see texture or cyberface or shoe or any kind of mods out of me that require texturing. It's all models or databases or something unique like that. That's why I still use the 2K12 Rucker Park, for Christ's sake. So this is a big thing for me, and I feel that if I can do it, you guys can do it. This isn't the best explanation of it, but the best thing I can just tell you to do is just load up GIMP or load up Photoshop, import these files, just screw around with them a little bit. The GIMP community is great, the Photoshop community is great. You can just Google some questions on it. How do you import an SVG into Photoshop? Because I don't know how to do it. Playing with layers a little bit, learning how the select tools work, and recoloring based on that, and using the different color tools you have at your disposal. There's a lot of different things that you can do. And this is just where it begins. This is where it begins, and it takes experimentation, and I will help you the best I can, but sometimes just showing you is the best way to do it. So, hope you guys learned something. I hope this helps. If you need more help, try me in the comments. I'll do the best I can. But that's all I got for you. So I hope you guys learned something, and I will see you in the next video.